Matcha, Gyokuro, Kabusecha, Hojicha, Sencha, Honacha. Okay, if you're overwhelmed, then this video is for you. There's quite a number of names when it comes to Japanese green tea. And they're all foreign as they're Japanese, but as long as you can group them into different categories at least, then you won't get lost. So in this video, I'll categorize Japanese green tea into 5 groups, clear and easy. And this will give you clarity moving forward as you explore different types of Japanese green tea. By the way, I'm Yuki, I'm the founder of Tea Life, and here we break down Japanese tea so you can enjoy your next cup of tea even more. Let's start with the foundation. This is group 1. It's the Sencha family. This is where it starts for Japanese green tea, and more than half of the production of tea in Japan falls under the Sencha family. So what is Sencha? Sencha is the steamed Japanese green tea. After harvesting, they're steamed to stop the oxidation. After that, the leaves are rolled and dried, and then the taste is condensed into these needle-like shapes that you often see as loose leaf tea, and these are Sencha leaves. This is the baseline of Japanese tea. There are 3 things to remember. One is that they use the leaf part of the tea rather than the buds or the stems. 2 is that they're not shaded. They don't go through shading during harvesting. And 3, the taste is not altered after the production. So what's included in this Sencha family? First is the standard Sencha. It's light, refreshing, it's balanced. Then there's the Fukamushi Sencha. Fukamushi means that it's deep steamed. So compared to the normal Sencha, it's steamed a little bit longer to stop the oxidation, and it actually makes a fair bit of difference in terms of the taste. It's also visually noticeable because the deep steaming breaks down the leaves a little bit more, so you won't see as beautiful the needle-like shapes as you see in a normal Sencha. And another one in this group is the Ryokuchakuna. This literally translates to green tea powder. So this is a powdered form of Sencha. We'll put these 3 teas into the Sencha family. Now that we know the Sencha family, there's one major way to enhance the quality of the teas in the Sencha family, and that's shading. You might have heard that matcha goes through shading processes before harvesting. That's exactly what we're talking about. By shading the tea leaves from the sun, it produces more sweetness and umami, and it becomes less bitter. The depth increases, it becomes more delicious, and the prices increase too. So this is the second category, the shaded tea. There are 3 major teas in this category. If it's shaded 1 to 2 weeks, it would be a kabusecha. If it's shaded for 3 weeks, it would become a gyokuro. If it's shaded for 3 weeks and then also turned into a powdered form, that would be a matcha. If you've been following this channel, you've probably heard these names quite often. So matcha, gyokuro, and kabusecha. And the reason why you hear them so often is because I love them so much. Gyokuro is the pinnacle of Japanese loose leaf green tea, and matcha is the pinnacle of powdered Japanese green tea. Just like that, we covered the 2 most important categories when it comes to Japanese green tea, the Sencha family and the shaded teas. Now these 2 categories, they're all made in large factories, huge facilities. That's the thing about Japanese green tea, they're very standardized. Tons of fresh leaves are steamed and rolled and dried every single day. As this happens, there's a lot of byproducts that come out of the tea. There are small fragments and particles of the tea leaves, and there's also stems and veins of the leaves as well. Japanese aren't ones to waste this, so they make a different tea out of them. They become their own category, which is category number 3, and we'll call them, for lack of a better word, stems and particles. I don't want to call them leftovers, but that's kind of essentially what they are. Now the stems do tend to be a little bit tricky. There's lots of different names used to explain the tea that's made from stems. And the precise meaning kind of changes depending on the area of production. So there's not really a standard. So here we'll just lump them all together. So if you hear kukicha, karigane, shiraore. So these 3 are all names of tea made from the stems of the green tea. When you buy it, they're usually mixed in with sencha leaves. So it's not just going to be the stems, but it will add a freshness, a zing to the flavor of the sencha leaves. And then there's a tea called konacha. Konacha means powder tea. This is tea made from the collection of all the small particles that break off during the production process. They'll kind of look like matcha because matcha is also a powdered tea, but they're not as fine enough to be able to dissolve in water. So it's still more of a loose leaf tea. If you see tea bags that say sencha, that's probably most likely actually konacha. And it does make sense for them to use konacha because They're very fine particles, so they'll extract a lot easier than a normal sencha. It makes it suitable for extraction using a tea bag, which is a little bit difficult to extract in the first place. Let's move on to category number 4. We've actually already covered most of the basic forms of Japanese green tea already. Once that this basic form of tea is created, then it sometimes goes through a secondary processing. This is our 4th group, secondary processing. Now in Japan, there's not too many types of tea that go through secondary processing. There's only 2 major ones, but these 2 are pretty famous, so you might know them already. One is the Hojicha. Hojicha begins as a finished green tea, usually a sencha or a kukicha, and then it goes through roasting. It's roasted at high temperatures, the leaves turn brown, and it becomes a little bit more stronger in terms of the aroma and the roastiness. And this too also can come as a loose leaf form or a powdered form. You can actually make Hojicha very easily at home. You can take your old sencha, you can roast them, and it'll become Hojicha, and it'll work quite well. And yes, although it is brown in color, it's still considered to be a green tea. As you know, Hojicha has been very popular in cooking in lattes these days, even outside of Japan. Now, the second one is Genmaicha. Genmaicha is essentially a flavored tea. It uses roasted brown rice kernels to flavor the sencha leaves. It gives it a nice, heartwarming, roasty, toasty kind of aroma to the leaf. It's really interesting because this is really the only major flavored tea that Japan really has. There's been a little bit more recently with sakuras or yuzus, but historically, Genmaicha really has been the only one that's become major. Let's move on to part 5. Part 5 is our last category. It's the regional teas. These are teas that are specific to certain areas of Japan and have evolved in the way they process the teas. Now, we're not going to go through the whole list in this video today because there's numerous regional teas in Japan. Some are very major and some are very niche. There's a lot of them. So we're going to go over maybe 2 of the major ones. The first one is the tamaryokucha. This is more for the western side of Japan in the Kyushu island area. Tamaryokucha is also steamed, so it's kind of like sencha, but instead of straight needles, they are a little bit curved. They look like apostrophes. The rolling process is different, and the taste is often more softer and milder than the sencha. The other one is the kamairicha. This is also a product of the Kyushu area. And this one is unique in Japan because it goes through a pan-firing process instead of a steaming process. Most of the Japanese green tea, as I explained in this video already, are going through a steaming process. However, the kamairicha is almost the only one that really goes through a pan-firing process. That was a quick run-through, but hopefully that gives you a bit more clarity in terms of the landscape of Japanese green tea. I'll caveat this framework by saying that it's only for green teas. If we add another variable of oxidation, then we'll have another set of teas that we can talk about, such as we have some Japanese black tea. There's other fermented type of teas as well. In terms of share, it's very small compared to the green tea, so it's not ignored, but it's a small part of the Japanese tea ecosystem. We'll get into these on another day. Thank you for watching. If you missed the video that I made on how to make a cup of delicious sencha, then take a look here.